everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you for joining me today on this Flosstube Saturday because, you know, life. For Flosstube number 69. And Flosstube number 69 reminds me of, and this is not what you're expecting, but it reminds me of this embroidery piece that I did of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure for, for a friend of mine, and then I also sold one. And fun fact, I sold the original of this to my friend who had never seen the movie. She just liked the sentiment. So, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, if you know, you know. So welcome to episode 69. I got into other things yesterday on Flosstube Friday, and so I didn't film, and it was nice. It was nice to get into those other things. Today, though, I have so much to talk about. I have a finished object. I have a group of objects that all go together, including a new temperature pattern release that I actually talked about already on Instagram. I have some works in progress. I'm going to talk about my stitching journal a little bit. I'm sorry, all my stuff's right here. I have a little bit of haul. I got my Retreat in a Box, my Black Needle Society Happy Hour stitching box. And I got some fun spoolie mail. So I'll show you that too. But before we get to any of that, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my crafty and artistic adventures. And welcome back to anyone who's been hanging out with me for however long you've been with me. It has been great to get to know you in the comments here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm going to tilt you down a little bit. Boop. That way I have room to put where you can find me on Instagram right here. You can find me in two different places. The first one is Dr_Christy, and that's where I post pictures of my, daily life and my dog and my outfits of the day. Thank you all so much for your kind words about my outfits of the day. I appreciate it very much. I really try to, I'm a fat middle-aged woman who is trying to model, body positivity and creativity for, and, clothing fashion creativity for my students. And I appreciate the, response from all of you. Anyway, but that's where I post all that stuff on my Instagram, Dr_Christy. It's mostly stitching, but it's also the other things. Then I have a second one called The Spoolery, and that is basically where I, not very often, but when I will, start posting my obsession with vintage wooden spools and the things I make out of those spools for my very small, hopefully growing business, kind of local in-person business of The Spoolery. Anyway, that's where you can find me on Instagram. This is a channel about embroidery and cross-stitch and other textile crafts and baking, although not in like a year, so maybe I should take that out of my intro. Baking and history and the history of all of those things. So if any of that's interesting to you and you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. It's been an interesting week for me because this is my first full week teaching in person in 2 years. And I'm a college professor for anyone who's new. Well, even if you're not new, I'm still a college professor. But I'm a college professor and I've been teaching online since the pandemic hit. It gave, my colleagues the chance. It basically allowed us to have fewer students in the building. And I had already been teaching online before the pandemic, sort of half-time. And so I just kind of went full-time online. And so I'm in person 2 days a week. And it's been very weird and a little bit jarring. And so I think going forward, my videos are going to be on Friday or Saturday because I do actually have meetings on Fridays. We don't have class Friday afternoons. And so our meetings are on Friday after, like our committee meetings and stuff like that are on Friday afternoons. So I may have to have a meeting instead of filming. So if you get a video on Friday, that's kind of what I'm aiming for, but sometimes videos might come on Saturday. I'm finding that I'm really emotionally tired at the end of the week. Well, this past week anyway. I had a COVID scare because one of my very close colleagues got COVID, and we had been meeting together about, plans for the department and stuff like that, with masks on, but it's still a little bit nerve-wracking. So that was a little stressful this week, which is why no video yesterday. So that's why it's Saturday. That was very long. I'm going to keep it in and not edit it much because it's kind of late now. It's like Saturday evening and I just want to kind of get this done and up. So I guess I want to first talk about my finished object, which is kind of part of a group of objects that I have created. For some reason on Monday decided that I really wanted to stitch up Space Invaders. So I wrote a pattern for Space Invaders, and I'm offering it for free. I'll put a link down below to my Google Drive where you can download this Space Invaders pattern. The actual pattern, I added in the little spaceship up there. So there's a red spaceship. But then I thought, oh my God, this would make an amazing temperature pattern. And then I got obsessed. And so I decided I had to chart a temperature pattern. And that's what it looks like. And it's in my Etsy shop. I finished that up today. So if you're interested in stitching 365 aliens, well, it's more like 360 aliens, because on the days when you have 31 days, so each alien is 2 days, but on odd numbered days, so when you have 31 days, one of the explosion is also a day, right? So you have 15 aliens and an explosion is 31 days, which means that for February, for a leap year, all you have to do is just add in an explosion and that's your leap day. So I did that, and I did this, and then I was watching a weaving tutorial on overshot weaving. And what I realized is that overshot weaving is just pixels. So why don't I see if I can weave Space Invaders? This is all this week. I am like not usually obsessed with Space Invaders. Like I don't have like a Space Invaders like obsession. Just this week I got obsessed with Space Invaders, and I wove a little Space Invaders. It's not perfect. It's my first time ever doing overshot weaving. And because I'm in a no-buy month, I didn't have the right material. So I just had to work with what I had. And then I also wove in the ends after it was off. So it's not as obvious as it was, I think, before. So here's a picture that I took right after I did it. And then I also posted a video on Instagram, and I posted a short actually yesterday on YouTube. So some of you may have seen that. But I just thought it was so much fun. So Tony, the stubborn stitcher, said that this would make a fantastic purse. And normally I would be all over that, but this would never hold up. It's just not, it's not the kind of yarn that's made for that. So this is basically like a black velvet, and then this is just a cheap acrylic, and I don't even know what this is. This I got off eBay. It's this weird, and this one's like this weird, like thin, I don't know, like ribbony kind of a thing. So that's my Space Invaders thing that I did. A weaving, a stitching. I will add the, what's it called? The UFO at the top this evening. And a temperature pattern. So as I said, if you're interested in the little stitch up, that's a free pattern. I'll post it down below. If you're interested in the temperature pattern, that is on my Etsy shop. So those are my finishes, almost finishes, and new pattern. Let's talk whips. You're going to see some things you haven't seen in a while. I pulled things out. So let's look at what I had been working on before. I don't know that I will have before pictures and after pictures because I kind of want to do minimal editing. But I have been working on my Fangs Out piece. This is what it's going to look like. And here's where I am. I've gotten all of the black in the cat done. So I've color completed the black, and I've color completed this very light beigey color. So all I have left is this darker beige in the cat, and then there's a light orange that's going in the eyes, and then the cat's done. So I'm a little over 50%, so 52% or something like that. And so I have about 2,000 stitches left. I was hoping to have this done. I kind of want to get this finished and photographed, and I want to turn it into like a computer bag or something like that. I think that'd be really fun. And then I can kind of start on something else. I'm feeling slightly overwhelmed with my large projects. I have more large projects than I'm used to, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. I think, and that's kind of why I started the small cross stitch, the small Space Invaders cross stitch, because I just kind of needed like a quick stitch and something small. But what I really want, what my brain really wants, is a small embroidery. So I have a handkerchief in here that I think before I leave this space, I'm going to find a little pattern to stitch on my handkerchief and get that, just to have a little embroidery, That's kind of what I want to do. So this is being stitched in the called for DMC, and it's on kind of an oatmeal-y color. And I think it's like a 16 count Aida. I think that's what it's on. It's on like a beige, very neutral 16 count Aida. I really wanted to put it on this, but it's a linen and I've never stitched on linen before. This was a gift from my friend Jennifer. I've never stitched on linen before, and I wanted this done fairly quickly because I want to photograph it and put it on because I'm selling this. Oh, this pattern is also for sale on my Etsy shop. It is in collaboration with Haley Gilmore, who's a graphic designer and designs a lot of sort of protest feminist pieces. And this was in commemoration of the 5-year anniversary of the Women's March on Washington. So Chin Up Fangs Out kind of is a part of that movement. So I wanted to get it done quickly. Back to the story. I wanted to get it done quickly. And I thought, you know, doing it on linen when you've never stitched on linen is not going to be quick. So I did it on the Aida, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks really good. And it's coming along next couple weeks. So that is my Fangs Out piece. I have worked on my HAED, my Heaven and Earth designs. I am doing the Lady and the Unicorn Desire, which looks like this. And I have been working a bit on the black. I've been adding the black up here. And if you look at the picture here, this is the tree in the upper right hand corner, the tree. And what I would love to do is work my way down to about here. Oh, you can't see, like around, like, I don't know, double again, triple again where I am maybe, because there's a dog, there's like a puppy like floating in the sky. And I really want it. I really want to stitch him. So this is stitched on a 20 count Aida in ivory that I got from 123 Stitch. I think it says Vigart. I think that's what the orange means. It has an orange. It has orange on the selvage. Is that what that means, Vigart? And I'm doing it in the called for DMC colors. But of course, you know, I'm not one to just kit it up fully, so this is the floss that I have right now. And the fabric I got from Carrie and Stitches, because she, for her 1,000 subscriber giveaway, she gave away $25 gift certificate to 123 Stitch, and I happened to win, and that was super cool. So she bought me my HAED fabric. So in all, this has cost me about $25 so far, which is a pretty good deal for starting a HAED, right? And I'm at about 1.5%. But speaking of Carrie from Carrie and Stitches, she just said some really nice things. Thank you for the shout out, Carrie. I appreciate very much. She gave me a nice shout out in her video and said really nice things about me and how much she enjoys watching my channel. And she hung out with me on my birthday, which was awesome. And it was just, like, so nice to meet you. And I appreciate your videos as well. I really enjoy watching your videos. And if you're not watching Carrie and Stitches, I'll link her down below. She does some really pretty stuff, and she has some really pretty stuff done in the background. So definitely go check her out for her cross stitch wall. I think it's well worth your visit. So I just wanted to throw that out there since I was mentioning her, since she essentially bought me my fabric. Last Sunday, I mean, as per usual, I had my crafty Zoom with my mom, and I worked on my temperature drink shelf. I don't think I'm caught up yet at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I'm on day 19, but I love how it's turning out. Once you get the what's it called? Once you get the glasses done, filling them in is so easy, and I love it so much since not doing the highs and the lows at the same time, like in the same glass. Like, I'm really pleased with this. This is on a 14 count navy Aida that I just got from my big box store in a tube. I think it's probably DMC brand. So that's where I am with my temperature drink shelf, and it's going to look like this when it's done. And this was inspired by my mom and Chevis of Chevy Rel's Stuff podcast. She has a knitting podcast, and they both like a good cocktail. So anyway, I'm really pleased with this, and I am on a roll, I think. So we'll roll that puppy up. Speaking of which, I stitch in hand, so that's why I just roll it up and put it in my bag. And my project bag has all my floss in it, and I use the called for colors. and it's in my book bag because I made this for my temperature library last year. And speaking of my temperature library, good segue, right? Ta-da! I did 10 more books. So I'm on day 16, and I did not look up what the stitches were. I will have them listed down below. So I demonstrated each stitch on video. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It's going to sound very, very strange. I filmed myself stitching them. It is not a tutorial because I've never done some of them before, but I thought I would, it's more of a demonstration. So my goal is to get each stitch down to a minute and then have basically two videos at the end of the month, of each month, of just me stitching all of the stitches with the name of the stitch underneath. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I probably should have introduced it. This is the temperature library that I designed, and I have decided to stitch each book in a different stitch. So at the moment, I have a database, which is linked down below, of like 183 stitches. And I'm kind of going through them and picking them at random to fill in my books. And so you can see each book has a different texture and has a different stitch. Now, not all these stitches are actually filling stitches, which is why like this one is like a herringbone stitch, I think. And it's not supposed to be a filling stitch, so it's very open weave. But that's not the point. The point for me is to just try out all these stitches because I get stuck in a rut. I get stuck in a rut and I just do the same like 10 stitches over and over again for all my projects. And I wanted to try something different. I wanted to challenge myself. So that's what this is about, and I'm filming it. With that being said, I will not have a Flosstube next Friday. So that's the first Friday in February of 2022, whatever day that is. I won't have a Flosstube that day. Instead, I'm going to upload the first, I'm going to upload the first half of these stitches, and then the next Tuesday, the second half of the stitches. And this coming Tuesday will be a tutorial on how to make a loom out of things you have around the house, because I've had a lot of people who've been really interested in weaving since I've started weaving. A lot of people have been commenting. So I thought I would show you how to make a loom without having to buy a loom. That's the plan. So next Tuesday is loom video. Next Friday is first half of temperature library. Oh, hashtag 365 stitch project is the hashtag. So next Friday is 365 stitch project, and the Tuesday after that is second half of 365 stitch project. And then we'll get back to normal with my Flosstube. Because honestly, I need a little bit of a break. And I have a meeting next Friday. So I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm on, I think, day 16 or something like that. And I love how it's turning out. And eventually I will start doing the outline and stuff too. Although I did notice that I apparently never transferred the plaque. So I have to transfer the plaque for 2022. But that's okay. So there you go. That's my temperature library, which you haven't seen in a while. And I'm pretty pleased with it. And the last thing I worked on this week is my Hildegard. I worked on my Hildegard of Bingen's Cosmic Egg, and I didn't do much. So this is what it's going to look like. My Hildegard of Bingen's Cosmic Egg. It's my interpretation of a piece of art from, oh my God, I can't speak today. I'm sorry. The Cosmic Egg is a piece of art by a woman named Hildegard of Bingen, who was a 12th century nun. I did record a video about her that you can find up here. And she was a mystic, and she had divine visions, and one of them was the universe, which looked like this. And so I made one of these before for a friend of mine, but I really wanted one for myself. So I started stitching it again, and I am in the middle. So what I did was the yellow, the black, and the green. And it's not that much. Here, and I'll turn this around so you can see what it's going to look like. It's not that much, but it's more than it was before. And that makes me really happy. So I started working on that. And this is stitched on a cotton linen blend, just yardage fabric that I got from Fat Quarter Shop in like a natural color. And it is being stitched in all sorts of different flosses that's a mess, from all different dyers and companies based on the color from the picture. So this is not like a chart that you can get. It's my own design. And that is all my stitching. And I think that's all my weaving too. I don't think I did any weaving. I think the only weaving I did was my Space Invaders weaving. I don't think I did any other weaving this week. So I want to talk about my my stitchy journal real quick and show you where I am with that. I ended up ripping out more pages. I ended up ripping out the progress tracker page and whatever's on the other side because I wanted more space. It was feeling really thick. I needed more space for my sticker pouch here, and then I also have some stickers in the back. I'm loving having this now that I've used it. But what I wanted to show you first of all is I'm using the bookmark that my friend Francine gave me. And I had mentioned last week that I was doing a no buy February that was starting last Friday. I ended up going to the store on Saturday to get picture frames because I absolutely hated my weaving that I mounted on film. I'll post the links to that up here if you're wondering how to mount a piece of fabric onto a board for framing. This is a way that I really like doing that doesn't involve gluing any glue on the stitched piece, or in my piece, the woven piece. And so this is what it looks like in its new frame, and I love it, love it, love it. So I did say that I was going to have a no by February that started on Sunday. And I'm giving myself a sparkly star every day that I don't buy something. And so this is yesterday and this is today. And I don't expect to buy anything today. And this is like no buy anything that's not critical. Like I bought my dog's medicine and I bought my dog's food. And so, you know, like food stuff and that kind of thing. Obviously I can buy. But no craft supplies, no clothes, no houseware stuff, like no just to treat myself, no splurgy buys, none of that for all of February starting last week. And I've done really well. I've done all week. And then Sunday, the page before, is also has a star. So I'm pretty pleased with myself with that. That's what I wanted to show you. That's been going well. With that being said, I did buy some things before, like ahead of time, and they came in. So I have a book why don't I just show you. First of all, I got medieval cross stitch samplers. And this is essentially someone who takes, oh, speaking of which, there's my lady in the unicorn. This is someone who takes medieval pieces and doesn't turn them into cross stitch, but uses them as inspiration for modern, I can't even see what you're seeing. Ooh. As inspiration for modern pieces. So for example, here we have the lady and the unicorn, and here we have a stitched dressing table set, right? So it's not like recreating medieval images like a HAED. It's more taking inspiration from the Middle Ages. So this is a like inspiration from a stained glass or from heraldry. So I got this not to stitch the actual pieces, but to see how she interpreted those. And this is by Angela Wainwright. Medieval Cross Stitch Samplers by Angela Wainwright. And so my goal is to see how she's inspired by these pieces, not necessarily to copy her inspiration. Does that make sense? She also has really interesting finishes in here, like a glasses case or a notebook, putting it on a notebook, or a desk pen and band, desk pen set. So I haven't had a chance really to look through this very much yet, but I'm happy to have this in my arsenal. So when I go to think about medieval projects, I have kind of a touch point. So I got that. I got some industrial wooden bobbins. And I don't quite know what these were used for in the spinning industry, but I'm pretty sure these are used in spinning. And I got them from eBay, and I bought 100 because you can buy 10 for $25 or 100 for $45. And I ended up buying 100. And my goal is to use them like that for hanging up tapestries that I create, or weavings, or whatever, right? Flat, hanging finishes, that kind of a thing. So I have a bunch of these, and I thought that they were really fun. They're about 10 inches long. My husband posted about these on Instagram and said that they were wands, magic wands. So I'm going to open a wizarding school. Bing! I also got the Black Needle Happy Hour stitching box, but I'm going to do that at the very end, so that way if people don't want spoilers, they can just like peace out and not have to worry about like a timestamp. Because I wanted to show you, those of you who have been with me for a while know that I had been writing my own book, but I'd also been working on an article for another book, and that book came in. Look at that. So it's called Litigating Women, and it is about women and the legal system in medieval Europe. And there's me. Isn't that, oh, you can't see it. Isn't that fun? So I am super excited to have this book. This is the first thing I've written that I can actually hold, like that someone else printed I can hold. All of my publications thus far have been in online journals, which is totally legitimate. A lot of journals have gone online, but it's really cool to like hold it in my hand and rub it on my face. I'm rubbing it on my face. So anyway, I'm really proud of this. I'm really excited about this, and I wanted to share it with you because many of you have been through a lot with me on my research, and so I wanted to show you how exciting that is to me. And last but not least, I think all I have left is the resolution stitching box. I can't think of anything else I have to talk about. Not resolution stitching, my happy hour stitching box. Let's just do that. So I have my happy hour stitching box, which I've already opened and gone through because I did not want to be spoiled. And I'm gonna settle back my squeaky chair and put it on my lap. So first things first, we got some floss from Live and Dye LA, and I have not opened this yet, so let me open it. So like I said, this is from Live and Dye LA, and we have 3 10 yards, and it feels like cotton. So we have Melon Illusion. My heat just kicked in, which is very loud. Bordeaux. And Tequila Sunrise. Now remember, this is the cocktail, the happy hour stitching with 2 martini stitcher. This was how the curation of this was assisted, and apparently a lot assisted, by Erin the 2 martini stitcher. So we have floss. We have a tote bag that says it's stitch o'clock somewhere. And it's a nice bag. It's a vinyl. It's like a vinyl bag. It's smaller. I'm not quite sure. It would fit a small project. That'd fit a normal size project, I suppose. A normal size project. So that is fun. Okay, this one we were confused about. But then I realized what it was. So it comes in this little bag, and it is like little tweezers. But what you do is you wear them like this, so when you're stitching, you can pick up your snacks and not get like Cheetos cheese all over your fingers. You can just use this. I love this so much. So I can pick up my Utz chips. I love Utz potato chips. I can pick up my Utz chips, not get my hands all greasy, and not get my stitching all greasy. I don't remember what they're called, but I will tell you the papers at the bottom. We got a piece of fabric. This is, I got a 16 count Aida from Seraphim Fabrics, 5 o'clock somewhere. And it is a, ooh, is that a fat quarter? No. That might be a fat quarter. It's hard for me to tell what you're seeing, but it essentially looks like a, one of those green frozen drinks. I forget what they're called, but it's a very bright green. I'm sure I will use it for something fun. We got some fun drink themed counting pins. So you got an olive, an onion, and a twist. Lemon peel. Those will look really pretty in my new pin cushions that I got for Christmas. We got some tart raspberry syrup that apparently is very good with gin. I don't know how these didn't break. It was just like sitting in this box. I don't know how they didn't break. Same with this. In this box, and you knew you had to get a glass, we got a little tumbler that says cheers on it. Cheers. Oh, you can probably see it better that way. Cheers, which is Erin Two Martini Stitcher's sort of salutation at the end, right? Also not broken, but no padding around it. I don't know where the actual paper is anymore. That's okay. And then we got a chart, and we got an Ink Circles 5 o'clock somewhere chart, and it's just a clock with drinks all around the outside. And it's super cute. Not my style, so I think this is going to go into a future giveaway box. I have a giveaway box up there for things. I just put them in when I think that I probably won't stitch it. And I don't think I'm going to stitch this, but I'll put it in there, and if I do stitch it, we'll see. Anyway, so I thought that was pretty cute from Ink Circles, and it's all charted in DMC, which is nice. That was my Black Needle Society Happy Hour stitching box. God, I cannot remember the name of this box. And that is everything that I have to talk about stitching. So if you've been with me for this long, I am going to do a giveaway. If you're interested in stitching my new temperature pattern, my new Space Invaders temperature pattern, I want you to, the word I chose is pew, P-E-W, because it's like pew, 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 pew. So write the word pew down below. I was going to say space, but then if people want to talk about the Space Invaders, I didn't want to, but didn't want to enter. I didn't want to like do that. So pew is the secret word. Pew, 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 pew. And I will pick the winner in 2 weeks. So I don't know what day that is. It's the second Friday in February of 2022. You must be 18 because I have to get your email address. You must be a subscriber. Please don't say giveaway or any of that stuff. So if you're interested in winning that pattern, use the word pew, P-E-W. And with that, I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoy my videos for the next couple weeks that aren't floss tubes. And I will see you, I will see you in this way, in this more casual way in 2 weeks. So with all that being said, please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.